We began the discussion of the historical evidence by imagining ourselves in a jury, weighing the evidence between two parties. In the figurative case of when Jerusalem was destroyed, we have a classic whodunit case between two suspects, 607 BC and 587 BC. The astronomical diaries provide fingerprint evidence of the ancient sky from 2,500 years ago, with dozens of planetary and lunar observations. VAT 4956 points to 568 BC as Nebuchadnezzar's 37th year. This makes his 18th year, when Jerusalem was destroyed, 587 BC. We also considered the lunar eclipse tablets, LBAT 1419, 1420, and 1421. These help nail down Nebuchadnezzar's reign even further, providing dozens of absolute dates. And these are just some of the astronomical diaries that lock the timeline in place, not a complete list by any means. Then there is the accumulation of the thousands upon thousands of cuneiform economic tablets. The tabulation of these ancient receipts are time-stamped with the month, day, and year of the ruling monarch. With these, we can determine the names of the Babylonian kings, as well as how long each ruled. So many transactions have been found for each year that not one year is missing. With them alone, we can determine that Nabopolassar ruled for 21 years, Nebuchadnezzar ruled for 43, Amel-Marduk ruled for 2 years, Nergal-Sharezer ruled for 4 years, Labashi-Marduk ruled for 2 to 3 months, thus according him 0 regnal years, since the boy king died in his accession year, and because of this, is left off some king's list altogether. And finally, we come to the last Babylonian king, Nabonidus, who ruled for 17 years, up until the fall of Babylon in 539 BC. There is also corroborating evidence from examining the thousands of tablets from the firm Agibean Sons, a family-owned bank. Through these tablets, we can trace family heads of this firm from successor to successor through an 81-year period, synchronizing them to the ruling monarch, from the 3rd year of Nebuchadnezzar to the 1st year of the Persian king Darius I. The Agibi tablets line up exactly to the evidence from the other business tablets of the time, and what is more, they show that there could be no gaps of rulership between kings. This is further corroborated by the Attagapi stele, an inscription from Babylonian times that is essentially an obituary of the mother of Nabonidus, who died in his 9th year, that details a 95-year period from her birth to the accession of Nabonidus. This lists each of the Neo-Babylonian kings and how long they reigned, lining up with the established chronology and allowing for no gaps. Finally, we considered the Hill of Steel, where Nabonidus described a 54-year period that the temple in Haran was in ruins. From the Attagapi stele and the Babylonian chronicles, we know that the temple was ruined in the 16th year of Nabopolassar. From the cylinder of Sippar and other inscriptions, we know that the temple began to be rebuilt when Nabonidus ascended the throne. By adding up the years from the 16th year of Nabopolassar to the accession of Nabonidus, we find that the period is indeed 54 years, allowing for no gaps. There are also other bookkeeping tablets that keep track of goods over a number of years, such as Sakaf 165, that allow for no gaps between Nabonidus and his successor, Cyrus the Great. What is significant is not each line of evidence on its own. It is the corroboration of all the evidence. The same consistent story emerges time and time again. Time would fail us if we were to consider every piece of evidence in detail. This video series should not be an end in itself, but highlight the areas for individuals to begin looking into matters for themselves. Other areas of interest that we did not consider was the synchronization of Egyptian chronology with Babylonian chronology. Yet again, you will find the same hand-to-glove picture emerging. Another area for research is the Uruk King List, a 3rd century BC Babylonian text that lists the names of the Neo-Babylonian kings and how long each ruled. This too gives us the same story. Prior to the late 19th century, scholars relied on works such as Ptolemy's canon and that of other ancient historians. But the wealth of direct evidence from that time onward is such that we have little need to consult the works of ancient historians. Even so, Ptolemy's canon, also known as the royal canon, agrees exactly with the Neo-Babylonian chronology that is derived from direct historical evidence. Because the Bible contains no absolute dates, the historical record is essential in order to synchronize events found in the Bible with history. As found in the first 12 parts of this series, the Bible itself, when the proper exegesis is done, is completely compatible with Jerusalem being destroyed in 587 BC. It is not that the historical record says one thing and the Bible says another. Both are in harmony on this matter. 2 Corinthians 13:1 says, "Every matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses." Over the course of this series, we have called many diverse witnesses to the stand. The Bible, the astronomical diaries, the economic tablets, the Gibeah banking records, the Agape and Hillosteel, each bringing to the fore a unique piece of the puzzle. And when we put all these pieces together, they fit together perfectly. If you were in a jury, how would you decide? The truth is, the real jury, the professional historians, astronomers, archaeologists, and theologians, decided quite some time ago. The question is if we as individuals, upon a fair hearing of the case, will accept the verdict. Will we leave behind teachings that are the trickery of men, leave behind deceptive schemes, and speak the truth in love?